From the moment you wake up, your eyes open to the world outside. You see the light, you hear the sounds, and instantly your mind begins to wander, chasing, comparing, wanting. You look for meaning in places that can only distract you. The phone lights up, messages, notifications, news, and before the day has even begun, your heart is already tired. We spend our whole lives searching for happiness, for peace, for purpose. We look for it in relationships, in success, in approval, in things. And yet, the more we search, the emptier we begin to feel. Because what we seek can never be found in the noise of the world. It can only be discovered in the silence of our own heart. The truth is simple. Everything you are looking for has always been within you. It has never left. It cannot be taken away. But you have covered it with thoughts, expectations, fears, and endless desires. You have built walls around your own soul. You see, peace is not something to find, it is something to uncover. It is like a mirror hidden under layers of dust. You don't need to create the mirror, you only need to remove what hides its reflection. And when you do, you see yourself clearly, quietly, truthfully. The mind loves to search outside because it is restless. It wants control. It wants certainty. It wants answers that fit its logic. But the heart already knows. It whispers softly, "Be still, everything you seek is already here." When you listen to that voice, the search ends. And in that ending, life begins to unfold effortlessly. But it takes courage to stop searching. Because the world has trained us to believe that our worth lies in achievement, in becoming someone, in reaching somewhere. So we run, we climb, we chase. We forget that life was never meant to be a race. It was meant to be a rhythm. When you stop running, you will realize that there was nothing to run toward. The peace you were chasing was following you all along, like a shadow that never leaves its light. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel your heart beating, not for any reason, not to prove anything, but simply because you are alive. That pulse is the universe reminding you you are enough. You don't need to become someone better. You don't need to fix everything about yourself. You only need to remember who you are before the world told you who to be. When you were a child, you didn't search for joy. You were joy. You didn't chase love. You were love. That innocence still lives in you. It has not disappeared. It's just buried beneath layers of forgetting. The moment you turn inward, you begin the real journey, not towards something new but back to something ancient, your own being. You start to feel whole again. You start to realize that you were never broken, never lost, never incomplete. The greatest illusion is that happiness is somewhere out there. But the truth is, there is no out there. The world you see is only a reflection of the world inside you. Change your inner state and your outer world will transform on its own. Everything begins and ends with awareness. Awareness is the bridge between confusion and clarity, between fear and freedom. When you see clearly, you stop chasing. You simply live awake, present, peaceful. And this is what it means to be free. Freedom is not the ability to have everything you want. It is the realization that you already have everything you need. There is a reason why silence feels uncomfortable for many people. Because in silence, you can no longer escape yourself. There is no one to impress, no noise to hide behind, no mask to wear. You meet the one person you have been running from, your own reflection. But when you stop running and simply sit in that silence, you begin to see something extraordinary. You realize that the emptiness you feared was never empty. It was full of presence, full of awareness, full of life itself. You begin to see that silence is not the absence of sound. It is the space in which all sound appears. Just like peace is not the absence of problems, it is the space in which all experiences unfold. Life will continue to bring challenges no matter who you are. But when your center is steady, nothing can shake you for long. Storms may come, people may change, situations may test you, but the one who has found peace within cannot be broken. Imagine a deep ocean. On the surface, waves rise and crash, but deep beneath, the water is still untouched. That depth exists inside you. The surface may get disturbed, but the depth remains calm. This is your true nature. The more you realize this, the more gracefully you begin to live. You stop reacting to life, and you start responding. You stop chasing people, and you start connecting with yourself. You stop needing validation, because peace no longer depends on anyone or anything. The world will keep shouting, "Be more successful, be more beautiful, be more liked." But the awakened one smiles quietly and says, "I am already complete." That doesn't mean you stop growing or dreaming. It means your actions no longer come from emptiness, but from fullness. You act not to fill a void, but to express your truth. You create not to prove your worth, but to share your light. When you begin to live like this, life becomes simple again. You eat, you walk, you breathe, and every small act feels sacred. You no longer wait for happiness to come from something big. You find joy in the ordinary. And that is where true peace lies, in the small, quiet corners of everyday life. Sometimes people think awakening means escaping the world, but awakening is not escape, it is engagement without attachment. You still play your roles, but now you know they are roles. You still live in the world, but the world no longer lives in you. The master once said, "The lotus grows in muddy water, yet remains untouched by it." That is the way of true awareness, to live fully in this world, yet not be consumed by it. Look within yourself right now. There is a quiet watcher behind every thought, every emotion, every desire. That watcher is your true self, timeless, still, and free. It has never been hurt, never been afraid, never been lost. You are not your fears, you are not your failures. You are the awareness witnessing them. When you remember this, life becomes lighter. You stop clinging to things that are meant to pass. You stop resisting what is meant to teach. You begin to trust the flow of existence. And in that trust, you find peace deeper than any pleasure the world can offer. Close your eyes again. Take a deep breath. Feel how life flows through you effortlessly. The air, the pulse, the awareness. Everything you need to feel whole is already here. You just have to stop searching long enough to notice. When awareness becomes your way of living, everything around you begins to change, not because the world has shifted, but because you have. The people who once annoyed you no longer disturb your peace. The moments that once felt ordinary now feel alive, and even pain starts to look different. Before awareness, pain feels like punishment. After awareness, pain becomes a teacher. It shows you where you are still holding on, where you are still afraid to let go. It invites you to grow, not through resistance but through understanding. Every emotion carries a message. Anger asks for boundaries. Sadness asks for acceptance. Fear asks for courage. Love asks for presence. When you listen, you no longer fight your emotions. You learn from them. They rise, they teach, and they leave like waves touching the shore. This is what it means to live consciously. You are no longer controlled by what happens to you. You respond with awareness, not reaction. And that is where your true power lies, in the space between stimulus and response. That space is peace. Most people believe peace will come when life becomes perfect, but perfection never arrives, because life is movement, not stillness. There will always be change, loss, uncertainty. Trying to make life perfect is like trying to stop the wind. You will only exhaust yourself. Instead, let the wind blow through you. Let life move the way it must, and stand firm like a mountain, rooted, aware, silent. In that stillness, even chaos becomes music. When you live from awareness, relationships transform too. You stop expecting others to complete you, because you are already complete. You stop blaming, because you understand everyone is fighting their own unseen battles. You start to love without demand, not because people are perfect, but because love itself is your nature. True love is not about possession. It is about recognition, seeing yourself in another being. When you look deeply enough, you realize that every person, every face, every story is another reflection of the same consciousness looking through different eyes. And then compassion naturally arises. The master once said, "When you look at the flower, see yourself as the flower. When you look at the sky, see yourself as the sky." In that seeing, all separation dissolves. You no longer walk through the world. You are the world walking through itself. This realization is not something to believe, it is something to feel. And the more you feel it, the lighter life becomes. You begin to laugh more easily, forgive more quickly, and worry less. Because you understand that everything is temporary, yet everything is sacred. Even the smallest acts, a smile, a breath, a step, become expressions of the divine. You no longer chase moments of happiness, you live them. You no longer wait for peace, you embody it. And in this simple, silent knowing, the endless search finally ends. Not because you found something new, but because you realized nothing was missing. The treasure you were looking for was buried in the one place you never thought to look, within your own being. Now, every day becomes a practice of remembering. Every sunrise whispers, "Come back to yourself." Every sunset reminds, "Let go again." Life becomes a gentle rhythm. Inhale, exhale, hold, release. A dance between the inner and outer worlds, perfectly balanced in awareness. You no longer need to control life because you trust life. You no longer need to chase peace because you are peace. And that understanding is freedom. The quiet kind that no one can give you and no one can take away. The world will not stop being loud just because you have found your peace. The noise will return. Distractions will come back. The mind will try to pull you outward again. Chasing validation, comparing, overthinking, doubting. But awareness is not about escaping the noise. It is about remembering the silence that exists within it. You do not need to run away from the world to stay centered. You only need to carry your center with you. When you eat, eat with awareness. When you walk, walk with awareness. When you speak, listen to your own words as if they are a reflection of your inner state. When you breathe, know that this breath is not separate from life itself. It is life itself moving through you. Every small act can become a meditation. You don't need special rituals or long hours in solitude. Awakening happens in the middle of life, in traffic, in conversations, in laughter, in moments of silence between words. Because awareness is not something you do, it is what you are. You were aware before thought appeared. You will remain aware long after thought fades. The practice is not to become awareness. The practice is to remember that you already are it. This remembering takes patience. You will forget. You will fall back into old habits, old fears, old patterns, but that is part of the path. Even forgetting is an invitation to remember again and again and again, until remembering becomes natural. Don't fight your distractions. Observe them. When the mind starts running, smile and watch it. Let it move until it grows tired of its own noise. You are not the running. You are the space it runs through. You are not the thought. You are the awareness watching the thought arise and dissolve. The mind will say, I must find peace. But the heart whispers, peace was never lost. The mind will say, I must become stronger. But the heart reminds, you are already whole. This is how awareness transforms your life, quietly, invisibly, deeply. You stop searching for meaning and start living meaningfully. You stop waiting for life to begin and realize it has always been happening. Every breath, every step, every moment has been part of your awakening. But to see this clearly, you must slow down. You must give yourself permission to pause. In stillness, wisdom appears. In slowness, depth is found. In silence, truth speaks. There will be days when you feel lost again. Days when the old search returns. On those days, remember this: you do not need to find the light, just open the curtains. The sun has always been shining. Sometimes you don't need new answers. You only need to stop asking the wrong questions. Stop asking, what can I get? Ask instead, what can I give? Stop asking, when will I be happy? Ask instead, what am I holding that blocks my happiness? This is how self-awareness becomes self-liberation. You begin to see that the mind's greatest trick is to convince you that peace lies in the future, when it has always lived in the now. Every time you come back to the present, you come back home. The Master said, the most profound truth is the simplest: be here now. Because this very moment, right here, right now, is the doorway to everything you've been seeking. So stop chasing the future, stop replaying the past, and really look at this moment. The sound, the breath, the feeling of being alive. This is where life happens. This is where peace is found. And once you learn to live in this awareness, even the most ordinary moments become sacred. The cup of tea, the sound of rain, the soft light of morning, everything becomes a reminder of the divine. This is not philosophy. It is the most practical truth. Peace is not something you achieve. It is something you remember. Now, take a moment and simply be. Let your heart rest. All this time you have been searching. But the search itself was a teacher, a mirror, a guide leading you back to yourself. Everything you have been longing for is not outside. It is not in places, people, or achievements. It has always lived within you, patiently, silently, waiting for you to remember. The world will continue its hustle. People will continue to chase, to compare, to compete. But you are no longer part of that endless race. You have discovered a quiet center, a space that no one can take from you, no circumstance can shake, no failure can diminish. Remember, you are already whole. You are already complete. You are already enough. When you live from this understanding, life itself transforms. Each day becomes a practice, a meditation, a dance with the present. You move through the world without fear, without attachment, without need. Your actions come from clarity, your words from wisdom, your presence from peace. And as you walk through this life, you begin to notice subtle miracles everywhere. A smile shared, a quiet moment in nature, the gentle breath that keeps you alive. You begin to realize that these moments were never small, they were always sacred. You stop measuring yourself by outcomes. You stop asking, am I enough? Because you already are. You stop chasing happiness, wealth, or validation, and instead you simply exist, fully, freely, peacefully. The Master reminds us, do not search for what is not lost. Do not fight what is already still. Remember who you are, and all the world aligns itself naturally. Take this truth into your daily life. When fear arises, breathe and remember. When doubt appears, smile and remember. When longing calls, pause and remember. The greatest journey you will ever take is not outward. It is inward. It is the journey to the self you have always been, the peace you have always known, the love you have always held. And when you finally remember, the world will no longer seem harsh or demanding. It will feel like home, not because it changed, but because you have come home to yourself. So stop searching outside. Breathe, feel, listen. Everything you are looking for has always been here. You are the river that flows calmly through chaos. You are the sky that holds every storm. You are the light that never leaves, even when clouds obscure it. And now, in this moment, you remember who you are. You remember your strength, your peace, your wholeness. You remember your own infinite capacity to love, to be calm, to be free. Let this remembrance guide you. Let it shape your actions, your thoughts, your presence. Carry it into every moment, every breath, every heartbeat. Because the truth is simple, yet profound. You are not searching for something new. You are not seeking something missing. You are simply remembering what has always been. The eternal, unchanging, radiant self that is already within you. And so, live from this place of knowing, live fully, peacefully, consciously, and every day with every breath, let the world witness the quiet power of one who has truly come home.